Okay, I'm going to try and talk about how to rotate an LED on an 8-bit bar graph LED. It's something the students do in assembly language, 68HC11 assembly. It's easy to do with assembly language because you've got an 8-bit port and you've got a 8-bit register, and you've got the rotate right and rotate left instructions that do all that work for you. Where in Python it's another story. So there's a couple of ways to do it in Python. One is with the bitwise operators and shift right and shift left. So you could operate on an integer that way. Another way is using lists. So I'm going to experiment with that method. So I'm going to have a list of numbers where we've got a 1 and 7 zeros. Okay, so there's a list. Numbers has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I missed one. Well, let's append another 0 on there. Numbers dot append, and we'll add another 0. Oh, I spelled numbers wrong. Okay, numbers. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers in there. Okay, so the pop instruction, or the pop method for lists, will pop the last number, the last thing off of the end of the list. So it'll pop off this 0 here. So I can say num equals numbers dot pop, and if you leave the index empty, it pops off the very last number. So now num has got the 0 from numbers, the last entity. So there's only 7 digits in there now. And to add that 0 that we popped off back onto the front of the list, we can say numbers.insert. At index 0, we want to put in that number that we just popped off. So numbers now is shifted 1 over. So you can just repeat that in a loop, and you can rotate the list of numbers. So that would be like a rotate right. Okay, to rotate left, we can use the pop method again, but we can specify index 0. So we'll put index 0 into the pop, where up here we didn't specify. So it pops off the last element in the list, where when we say index 0, it's going to pop off that 0, and we'll be left with our 7 items. So it brought it back to where it was because we popped off that first 0. And to add it to the end of the list, you certainly know that we use the append, and we append num, and it'll put it onto the end of the list. So that is like a shift left, a rotate left. So like if I do that again, if I go num equals numbers dot pop 0, that'll get the 1 into num, right? That's the 1 from there. So numbers is now 7 elements, and we have to append it to the end. So numbers dot append num, num, we'll add it to the end, and now we've got our 8 elements after rotating left. So that 1 came around and goes around to the end. So what it comes down to is to rotate left, or rotate right, you have to go num equals numbers dot pop, and then numbers dot insert. Oh, I spelled numbers wrong. At index 0, comma num. So that'll rotate right. And to rotate left, oh, phone's ringing. Can I pause this thing? Hold the phone. Okay, let's resume. Okay, so we're going to rotate left. The way you rotate left is you would say num equals numbers dot pop 0. That pops off the first element from the list. And to bring it around to the end, to the right hand end, you go numbers dot append num. Okay, so there you go. There's your rotate left and your rotate right. You can make them into functions, and it'll work perfectly.